almost 3 hours. It's
on Sports 1440.
David. Off his stick, kept alive by Drysdale. One spectacular move and set up by Connor Halley.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Here comes a Hail Mary, but the game on the line, and the ball is caught. It's a miracle.
To the Jason Gregor Show here on Sports 1440, also streaming on Oilers Nation Facebook, YouTube, and X. I don't know if anyone from Australia is tuning in, but that would be very cool. Heard they have good coffee down there. If you've been, let us know. Jason Gregor Show, brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca. Of course, tonight, Gold Ball Jackpot, Lotto 649, $46 million. You can get your ticket at PlayAlberta.ca. Also, if you're going to make a deposit, use code word Gregor50. With that, a $50 free bet. Maybe Jays bounce back after a tough loss last night against the Minnesota Twins. Fingers crossed. If you're watching any baseball right now, the New York Yankees absolutely pounding the Nationals, who just hit a home run in the top of the ninth to make it 11-2. Yankees going to win that one. The Jays got to start getting back on the winning side of things. We got a really busy show today. Of course, you can always text us 1-833-401-1440 or email me, Connor at sports1440.ca. On the show, we'll kick things off with Tyler Yaremchuk of Oilers Nation. Of course, Connor McDavid spoke today. We'll hear his comment about the contract later on here. Don't be expecting earth-shattering news. It's much of the same from what he said when he last spoke to the media. We'll talk to Ty about the Oilers, maybe a little bit about the Toronto Blue Jays as well. See how his Bills are looking as the season is right around the corner. Speaking of football, Stevenson Bone going to join us. The head coach of the University of Alberta Golden Bears. They're in action Friday night down at Footfield, 6:30 start, taking on Saskatchewan. Love some college football. Any side of the border. I'm good with it. It's going to be a lot of fun. Derek Van Diest will join us from Calgary at 3:20. Of course, covers the NHL with NHL.com. Does a focus on the Western Canadian teams, but he's down in Calgary for the orientation camp with Hockey Canada. Colin Livingston will join us today because tomorrow he's busy. So we'll talk some racing, some changes in F1 with teams, and we're going to go over just kind of some of the equipment and how far it's come along. Mike Wilner from the Deep Left podcast and the Toronto Star will join us to talk some Jays. We've got Mark Spector as well. And we'll also talk some Las Vegas Raiders with Mayra Gomez. She's actually an analyst for the team on the Spanish broadcast. I wonder if she can give us a good Spanish call. Touchdown Raiders. Wanye?
I was about to talk all crazy, but then I remembered that we were live on the radio.
Do you speak Spanish?
And YouTube, that's correct.
And YouTube. And
do I speak
Facebook.
Spanish? No, despite working in Mexico for many years, all my friends and coworkers got better at English.
Yeah.
And I did not get better at Spanish. I can watch TV.
You brought them to your level.
That's right. I can watch TV. I can read in Spanish functionally, but the speaking, so difficult.
It is. I took Spanish 10, and I've discussed this before. I don't want to throw my teacher under the bus, but Senorita Padavani at Ross Shepherd, 49% in Spanish 10. I did not go on from there.
49. Wouldn't
49.
even give you the mercy 50?
And I'm pretty positive that she said at the start of the year, if you show up every day, do your homework, I'll pass you. I could not focus in that class. I had a guy that sat behind me, and I hope he's doing okay, but he would always get sick.
Oh no.
Yeah,
puke?
Well, he'd run to the bathroom.
Oh no.
So I was constantly in fear that I was going to get thrown up on.
So hold on. You failed Spanish because you were scared of being puked on?
Well, I had a hard time focusing. Like, I'm not, and I wasn't good at Spanish. I'm not like, but I was probably good enough where you could have bumped me at the 50. I showed up every day. I tried, but
why didn't you ask to be moved away from Barfy McToilet Run?
It was a full class, and like I was shy. I was grade 10. I was new. I didn't want to be like I need a new spot. This guy's going to upchuck on me.
Bless your heart. If that happened to me, grade 10 Wanye, I'd have written to the superintendent of the school board and said, I'm on a razor's edge here, bro.
I lacked that confidence.
You better move. Got to have the confidence to complain.
Yeah, well, it was for the best. I graduated high school. It was a learning experience. But
one time when I was in final exams at U of A, we were sitting on the Butterdome floor, and just imagine a sea of desks as far as the eye can see. Nobody knows what they're doing. It's terrifying. It's different classes all together. And this kid, one row over and about 3 desks up, he puked on the ground. Right when the test started.
Nerves or?
I don't know. I didn't run triage, but I'll tell you this. They tried to bring in like a proxy with a mop, and everybody was watching that, and no one was doing their test, and it was piping hot in there.
That might have been part of the reason for the poor guy.
Oh, mercy. What a day.
Yeah. I never got sick in school, but I remember like vividly in elementary and like junior high where one guy, his name was actually Brandon. I won't say his last name, but he threw up where I was like sitting. I got up and moved, and he threw up.
You said you have a phobia of this sort of thing, right?
I don't love it. Yeah.
It seems you had a lot of contact with other people puking back in the day.
Well, and that's like the phobia. Like it would gross me out. Like I would feel like I would get sick if I saw someone get sick, and I don't like vomiting.
Nobody likes it. No one's like, hooray.
Some people like tolerate it though. Like, you feel better after. I'm like, I'd rather be in pain for 2 hours than.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
See, I used to be like that when I was little, but once I started drinking, and
you're just like, I got to get it out.
Well, I got to do a quick puking rally. We've all been there. Go have a creme de menthe shot at the bar. You're back in business.
Yeah. See, no, not for me.
No,
not that guy. I'm not that guy, pal.
There's no better feeling than when you stop puking.
I imagine so.
Like, that's behind me.
Like I had one experience with a Jack Daniels where I was like, I don't want this, and my friend said, just take half of it. Like, why would you take half of it? It does the exact same thing. So I like took a sip, walked to the washroom, dry heaved a little, spit it out. Like I knew I didn't need that. Why did I do it? So yeah. Anyways,
ask me if I've ever puked at the Pint downtown. Just ask me.
Have you ever puked at the Pint downtown?
That's classified, Connor.
I've seen you
puking at the Pint downtown.
Yeah.
Really?
No.
Oh, I've done it many times.
I figured.
They didn't even throw me out after a while.
I figured that was the direction we were going.
Sometimes you just gotta eject the VHS and start a new movie.
It is true. And like I've known people. I dated a girl who was like in the cab going home. Excuse me, do you mind if you pull over for a second? Sure. Go around the corner, get it out, come back. Yeah, I'm good now. Like, that's not me.
So you've never smashed back like 3 shots in sequence and been like, I got to get this out of it before it hits my old brain.
No.
Really?
Never.
It's a veteran play.
Yeah. Not me, though.
Well,
I just ride it out.
Okay.
We got some text rolling in here already. Triple C in a truck asking about the email for the Fantasy Frenzy football draft. If you don't listen to Fantasy Frenzy, that's cool. I'm not going to hold it against you. But we got a couple leagues going on for the fantasy football season. So we are doing a 12-team league. It's 11 spots open because the Duke, Brandon Douglas, and myself will take one team. And, hopefully win. But we'll be doing the draft in 2 days. So on Friday on the show, we'll be doing a draft form. You can buy an entry by e-transferring $20 to Connor at sports1440.ca. If you want to buy more entries, you do so. Hypothetically, 5 would be 100. Half that money is going to go right to charity. So we always, get charity involved with these tournaments or these drafts. And then the other half will go to the winner. Winner takes all. No prize for second place. The draft will go down Tuesday night. So if you want to buy an entry to that draft on Friday, not the draft. The draw will be Friday, draft Tuesday. $20 to Connor at sports1440.ca. And then we also do a survivor pool, Wanye. Have you heard of that?
Is that when you bet on the show Survivor?
No, well, you could be. But
okay.
in this case, it's week 1. Hypothetically, you like the Chargers to lose to the Chiefs. So I'm going to take the Chiefs to win. They win. You advance to week 2. You have to pick another game. But you can't pick the Chiefs anymore. They're gone. So you have to pick a different team. So there's some strategy. You don't want to use like a top dog too early because you might need it later on in the season. Some people scope this whole thing out. I think Yaremchuk actually had in years past had a pretty good plan of who he would take. The last 2 years I've lost in the first round.
The first week?
Yeah.
Oh dear.
Yeah. Pretty embarrassing. So I hope to get past the first round. But if you'd like to get in that, Brandon at sports1440.ca, $10 buy-in. Again, money's going to go to charity. So winner gets half. Rest goes to, we're going to do Socktober helping Operation Friendship Senior Society.
Is the charity the Connor Halley Lamborghini Maintenance Fund?
No.
No, you're not doing that this year?
Not this year.
The good folks over there, though.
Lamborghini has a great policy of taking care of their own.
They
So
do good work.
when I
over
bought
there.
mine, yeah, they take care of it. So no,
Absolutely.
you know what? I'm not exactly sure. Also, tomorrow we got tickets to Lainey Wilson.
Ooh.
Huge star in the country world. I went and did my due diligence. I walked around the building because we, of course, have CFCW staff here. And they're like, oh, yeah, that's a big ticket. So we're very lucky to get some tickets from, I want to make sure I get the company correct because a very nice donation. It was Amalgamated Mining Group. So they gave us 2 tickets. You also get dinner at Rogers and parking underground.
Sweet.
So we're going to do a fundraiser tomorrow all day on the station to raise money for SACE. That's the Sexual Assault Center of Edmonton, who, of course, was defunded a little while ago. Serious issue. So we're going to help them out. So we actually had a bid come in earlier on Fantasy Friends. It was premature because the bidding won't officially start till tomorrow. $500.
Tell me more about last year's football pools. Who you raised money for? Tell me about it. Don't let me make jokes.
Last year for the football pool, I think we did the Ben Stelter Foundation.
Nice.
That's one we like to definitely help out. And then it was also Socktober. So Operation Friendship Senior Society. We know Jimmy. He's on the street team here at Stingray, and they help the less fortunate. A lot of seniors just get socks for the winter because a lot don't go without socks, and it's cold in Edmonton. So every October, I don't know what the plan will be this year, but we'll have a box set up outside the Stingray doors, and you can drop it off, a pair of socks. 1 year would have been the first year we did it. I went and bought the socks, and I came into Stingray Studio with like hundreds of socks. I was dropping them in the parking lot. There were so many because we had so many people get into it. And you go to a proper store, you can get a lot of socks for a couple $100.
How many people entered last year?
30, north of 30.
That's good.
Yeah. Good.
And the keeper pool there, is that what it was called?
And then the other one, that's where we'll do the draw for the teams because we don't want to do more than 12 teams. Otherwise, the players kind of get the pool isn't quite as good.
Right.
So it's a little easier to cap it at 12 teams.
Sure.
That's what most leagues do. Some go 14. That one, we haven't decided on the charity yet, but $20 buy-in. You can buy as many entries as you want for that one. Last year we had MTR, a loyal listener, bought, I think it was 3 to 5 tickets, entries, didn't get selected.
Oh,
So he's pretty focused on getting back in here.
got to focus.
Got to do it.
Got to lock in.
Text rolling in here. Lance says, you have a baby. Pubes in your future. Oh, yeah. And my baby's got a bad gag reflex. One little thing sits on the back of his tongue. He just looks at me, mouth open, and like, cool. Right into your bib. Thank you. Talladega said, threw up for the first time I was getting together with a girl. 40 degrees out. Just hot and made me sick. Needless to say, there wasn't a second date. Yeah, that's
It's tough handicap to overcome in the start.
That's so real, though.
Yeah.
I just got to say, man, hey, we all been there.
yeah. Tough she didn't give you a second chance. Like,
Maybe it wasn't meant to be.
definitely.
If you think seeing someone puke on the first date's the worst you're going to see, think again.
J-Rod says, how many 12-man, how many entries have been purchased for the 12-man? Ooh, I'm not sure exactly. North of 10. North of 20, I think, actually. I have to go. I have my sheet somewhere, but it's off camera. But yeah, we're getting a pretty good amount there. So it'll be a good payout. And, of course, we usually throw in a Sports 1440 hat to the winner. Maybe a lanyard as well. Jonathan Albert texting in. Question for Connor. Why do you think this McDavid is going to take his time with his contract? Do you think he's going to stay there, even though he wants to win a cup here and stay? John, that kind of came in a little iffy. What, Declan, do we got the audio from Connor McDavid speaking to the media today down in Calgary? Let's run that. TSN's Ryan Rashog kind of just asked him about an update on the contract situation, and here's what he said.
Yeah, not even a softball Olympic question for me to start, huh? But that's okay. Right into it. Yeah, no. I said at the end of June, I had every intention just to take my time with it, and I still feel the same way. Take my time and go through everything, and I have every intention to win in Edmonton. That's my only focus. Maybe next to win the gold medal with Canada, but it is my intention to win there. Yeah, taking my time, going through it with obviously my family, my agent, everybody involved. So we're going through it slowly.
We'll probably play that clip a few more times for a few of our guests as the show rolls on here. Again, Ryan Rashog of TSN asking the question. I mean, I just don't panic about it. Like he said it at the end of June. I'm going to take my time. I'm going to figure it out. Leon Draisaitl's contract a year ago went into September. I would say, probably in the next 2 weeks, it's going to be signed. The term, that's something we can debate forever. Some people optimistic it could be longer. Some people saying 2, 3, 4 years. From the people that I've heard, I probably trust the people that are on the lower end there because I feel that they're a little bit more consistent with their predictions and maybe a little bit more connected. But I don't know, Wanye. I don't get the nerves. Like, I guess for a lot of people, until it's signed, there's still an opportunity for him not to do it. I was a little more worried about Leon Draisaitl. When he signed for 8 years, in my mind, it was like, okay, McDavid's signing. I'm not concerned about him not re-signing. He's going to be in Edmonton for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think you're negotiating with Connor McDavid like nickel and diming him on his contract at this point. What I heard is he has a blank check.
Well,
That's what I heard. I literally heard that it was like, you tell us what you want to see, and the answer is yes. So I think when he's talking about taking his time, it's not like, can I get an extra $200,000 out of these guys over 8 years? It's more like, what assurances am I going to have here that the organization in this next contract or next 2 contracts, if we're so lucky, is going to deliver me the pieces that I need to win the cup?
Exactly.
Right? 2 Stanley Cup finals in a row, as aggravating and heartbreaking as it's been for Oilers fans, you have to think at this point the organization is in tip-top condition.
Yep.
Right? It's not like when we were falling out of the playoffs early or, heaven forbid, missing the playoffs. I think the organization is the second best team in the league the last 2 years. I think it's as competitive as Connor could hope it could be, really.
He's been given a chance. Like, they went to Game 7 of the Stanley Cup final last season. 2 seasons ago, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, that is all you can ask for, I think, as a player. Is a one-off. They were bested by a better team. Last year, same thing, bested by a better team. But what other team around the NHL would you go to and think, I have a better chance to win there? There's no one else that comes to mind, unless it's the Florida Panthers, who I don't think can afford him. And, if it continues down that trajectory and he does not win in whatever it is, 2, 3, 4 years, then he'll be a free agent and he'll be free to do whatever he wants. And that, if they get to that point, and there might be a tough discussion, like, do we trade him? Do we try to move on from him a little bit beforehand, or do we ride it out? Yeah, I would be with you. I don't think you do, but I'm just saying, 2, 3, 4 years, whatever it ends up coming in as, I think that's going to be a pretty good deal and a good time frame. And then for Connor McDavid, a chance, assuming the cap keeps going up, to get another deal.
Do you really think it would be 2 years?
Well, no, but I'm just saying. Ballpark.
I think an 8-year contract is a bit of a high expectation for Connor to match Leon in term.
And Trent.
Yeah.
He's like, I see these guys doing it.
Well, if Trent Frederick thinks it's good for the next 8, I think signing a shorter term deal, and other people said this too, it just holds the organization to account.
Yeah.
You don't have me forever and ever here, boys. Like, let's get the trades made and make the deals.
And like, I get that. I understand it. But if you're a GM of a National Hockey League team, and the difference, it's 4 years versus 8 years, are you going to be in like year 3 of Connor McDavid's new deal thinking, well, I still have him for 4 more years or whatever? Like, that shouldn't be the mindset of an NHL general manager. It should be, I have him on my team. Every year we want to win. Every single offseason, doesn't matter if he's going to become a free agent or not. The goal is to make this team good enough to win a Stanley Cup. So I get why maybe they're feeling some pressure to do so, but it shouldn't matter. No matter what, this team, Jeff Jackson, Stan Bowman, scouts, should feel the weight of the world, because if Connor McDavid does not win a Stanley Cup in Edmonton, it's a failure.
Oh, no doubt.
Right? So, I don't know. His security or not, I feel like the pressure has to be on these guys to find a way to keep going here and do what they have to do to make this team better. And now we just wait and see what happens. But yeah, I wouldn't be nervous about it. I mean, I'm pretty confident the deal's going to be done in the next 2 weeks here, and camp will get going and it won't be a problem.
It's going to be, do you remember when he signed his $100 million deal and they brought him out in front of the arena and he was all young and cool?
Yeah.
Oh, that was a fine day.
Good times, good times. The text line is 1-833-414-40. As we said, lots to get to on the show today. Of course, coming up next, we'll be joined by Tyler Yaremchuk. We'll hear from the University of Alberta Golden Bears football head coach Stevenson Boone. They got their season opener on Friday, taking on Saskatchewan down at Foot Field. Derek Van Diest from NHL.com will be by. Colin Livingston for the Cantork Race Report. We've got Mike Wilner to talk some Toronto Blue Jays, Spec, and then Mayra Gomez, the Raiders analyst, Spanish analyst. She's not the play-by-play, but I wonder if we can get a good call out of her for that one. Raiders touchdown, maybe Brock Bowers or something like that. Or Amari Cooper, as he's now back in the black and silver. We'll take a break. It is the Jason Gregor Show here on Sports 1440, Oilers Nation Facebook, YouTube, and X, brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca.
Listen up, because you're not going to want to miss this. Right now is your chance to get in on Play Alberta's biggest offer ever. For a limited time only, new players can get up to a $1,000 casino bonus when they sign up. There's never been a better time to join the fun. Visit playalberta.ca today to get started with casino, sports, and lottery all in one app. Must be 18 plus to play. Remember, if you gamble, use your game sense.
And now Action Electrical's testing team is on defense duty. They're the guardians of safety and compliance, a critical part of any lineup.
Precisely. They perform rigorous safety and code compliance testing for commercial operations. Think of them as the referees, ensuring everything is up to standard before disaster strikes.
Their preventative plays are legendary, spotting faults early. Hire the Action Electrical team to bring home a win for your project. Visit actionelectrical.net.
McDonald's sundaes and snack-size shakes are $2, or get $1 cones exclusively on the McDonald's app. With those prices, your hands are going to be full of treats. Like Alex here. My phone. I got you. App download and registration required. At participating McDonald's in Canada. Taxes extra. Prices exclude delivery.
Whether you're a craft beer connoisseur or more of a wine aficionado, there's always something new to discover at Sherbrooke Liquor, a unique, family-owned, independent liquor store. The selection? Incredible. The non-alcohol section is also very impressive. Sherbrooke Liquor, expert, knowledgeable staff with a passion for unique finds. More than just a liquor store, we're a community. Alberta's best, the one and only Sherbrooke Liquor. Wine, spirits, and oodles of beer. Visit SherbrookeLiquor.com.
Come for Canada's largest trade shows, the biggest names in entertainment, exhilarating sporting events, and more. Stay for the experience at the Edmonton Expo Centre. TNA Wrestling makes its explosive debut at the Expo Center on Friday, September 26th and Saturday, September 27th for back-to-back nights. Buy your tickets online today. Learn more about what's happening at the Expo Center by visiting the calendar of events online at edmontonexpocenter.com today.
If you're looking for the ultimate off-road adventure, you'll find it in a Jeep Wrangler. And if you're looking for the ultimate financing deal on a Wrangler, you'll find it at St. Albert Dodge. Right now, St. Albert Dodge is offering 0% financing for up to 72 months OAC on their full selection of 2025 Jeep Wranglers. And it's a great selection. Sport, Willys, Sahara, and Rubicon, plus all the new colors, all on the lot ready to go at 0%. Come see how easy it is to do business at St. Albert Dodge.
Tee off to win with Cattail Crossing's $10,000 hole-in-one challenge, powered by Sports 1440, Canada's first ever aqua range event. Just walk up, grab some golf balls, and start swinging. Or book a VIP bay today. Win $10,000 with a hole-in-one, plus great secondary hole and leaderboard prizes. Closest to the pin and monthly winners will battle for a $50,000 grand prize. The hole-in-one challenge, open Thursday to Sunday, noon till 8 through August. Weather permitting, cattailcrossing.ca.
Landscaping this summer? Call Bashaw Concrete Products. That's right, more than concrete. Their landscaping division has everything you're after. A huge selection of P-rock, washed rock, and sand, gray limestone, red shale, mulch, compost, landscape fabric, and topsoil. Plus, the full line of Barkman products, including pavers, retaining wall blocks, fire pits, and precast planters. Landscape products made for your outdoor living space. Residential or commercial, start here. BashawConcrete.com and follow them on Facebook.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Leading Edge Physio. From weekend warriors to professional athletes, kids playing soccer to grandparents in the garden. Rotator cuff tears and tendonitis to post-surgical knees and hips. We fix your body. Life shouldn't hurt. LeadingEdgePhysio.com.
Pro sports, local sports, minor leagues, you got it all. It's the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Jason Gregor Show here on Sports 1440, also streaming on Oilers Nation Facebook, YouTube, and X. Connor Halley sitting in for the remainder of the week. We've got Wanye, Gretz, Declan Kruger, and Josh Fenwick keeping you on track. If you're watching on YouTube, hit that like button. I've heard it's a little choppy. We're working on that as the show progresses here, but make sure you hit the like button. We really do appreciate it. The Jason Gregor Show brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca tonight. Lotto 649, $46 million gold ball jackpot. Get your ticket at PlayAlberta.ca.
You did a really good job hyping up the new 1440 YouTube channel yesterday. You got the subscribers from 585 to 615.
All right.
That's what I'm talking about.
Well, let's keep the momentum going
Let's
here.
go.
If you're listening, you're like, I'd like to support a local company. I might go hit that subscribe button.
Yeah.
That's what we need.
We're sitting at 615. If we can get to 1,000 subscribers, a bell rings.
Yeah?
Yeah. You're going to love it.
And you'll give one person some oodle noodle?
I could.
If we get to 1,000?
Yes. If people, yeah, of course. If you figure out how to do that, I'll do that for sure.
There we go.
All right.
There's some motivation.
Let's get involved.
Go to YouTube, Sports 1440 AM. Hit subscribe. Maybe you'll win some oodle noodle.
It's good to have open when you're working.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Right?
Just let it run.
YouTube, I would be horrified to know how much YouTube I watch in a week.
Do you have a channel you watch, like something you have to watch on YouTube?
I try to watch all the Oilers Nation stuff, which is getting harder and harder as the years go by, and we have more and more shows. I try to watch all the Elks Nation stuff with our boy Declan because I'm a huge stan. That takes me through most of the day.
I've told you guys before, like, I love our content, of course, but Mr. Ballin, his stories, I don't know if you've ever seen that.
Mr. Ballin, no, what's he doing?
He does like sometimes it's like hauntings or murders. Sometimes it's just cool stories. Then there's also Watcher. They do like ghost hunting and stuff. They were on BuzzFeed before.
Really?
I love YouTube. I had YouTube a free month of the YouTube Premium with no ads, and you can like close the program down and it keeps playing.
Mr. Ballin, look at this.
He's huge. I would never pay for YouTube Premium, but
why?
I don't know. It's just I don't need it. We'll talk about that later.
We can talk about it whenever you want.
Let's get to our big guest of the day, brought to you by Silent Rides Charter Company. Silent Rides, one of Alberta's premier bus charter companies with state-of-the-art motor coaches, safely taking your team or group to their next destination. Visit silentrides.ca for more information. We bring in Tyler Yaremchuk from Oilers Nation and Daily Faceoff. Tyler, good afternoon. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good, boys. I'm doing good. Big guest of the day. That's a lot of pressure.
Well, I think you've earned it. I mean, you've been the Oil Report, you've been around the NHL, and I think you've earned this opportunity to be the big guest of the day. And, that opens things up. We're not just going to talk Oilers. We'll talk Jays. Might get your thoughts on the Buffalo Bills as well, if that's cool.
Yeah, absolutely. I like that. I'm versatile. I'm like a utility guy. You can put me in all these different segments. It's great.
I think so.
Ty, how are you feeling the day after your big golf extravaganza?
I was good. You know me. I'm young. I bounce back quick. So the hole-in-one was Monday. Hole-in-one challenge was Monday. Tuesday sucked. Wednesday, I went and played softball. Saturday, I was back out on the golf course. I'm ready to go Oilers Nation Open on Friday. I think Gregor's going to be there. Yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready to roll. My body's back to 100%.
Unbelievable. Just a bounce back athleticism.
Kind of what I had expected to. No less from the big guest of the day. We knew Ty would bounce back with that one. Oilers Nation tournament on Friday, raising monies for Gregor's grad, so that's cool. Ty, let's talk a little bit about the big news of the day. I'm sure you heard it. Connor McDavid speaking down in Calgary at the Canadian Orientation Camp. For some people, generating some panic. For me, this really changes nothing. Where do you come out of this one?
Yeah, it changes nothing for me. And I think it's just, he says he doesn't want to be a distraction. Okay. I know he said he's going to take his time, and some people wanted to spin that as like, oh, he won't sign a contract before the season now. Nope. He said he doesn't want to be a distraction and he wants everybody ready for opening day. He basically said everything but I will be signed by the start of the season. He wants to win in Edmonton. He's obviously going to be an Oiler, because if he wasn't going to be an Oiler, he probably would have told them that by now, or definitely would have told them that by now. Take that with the comments from Jeff Jackson on the sheet with Jeff Merrick earlier in the week, where he kind of said, this is going to be a very quick and easy negotiation. The Oilers aren't worried either. Like, I think it's just going to be a matter of them picking an afternoon when Connor's back in Edmonton, and they sit down and they say, okay, Connor, are you going 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, or 8 years? And Connor will probably say, all right, I'm comfortable with, call it 5 or 6 or whatever he says. And they'll say, okay, with the team around around you, if you're at these certain dollar amounts, which one do you want? And Connor will say, I want this one. And he'll pick his contract, because that's ultimately what this is. There's no negotiating between the Oilers and Connor McDavid. It's Connor saying his price and the Oilers obliging. So they'll get something done sooner rather than later. I don't think this will bleed into October. It'll be done by the time training camp rolls around. And I've always said that.
I'm with you. It's going to be the anti-Micah Parsons contract negotiation. It's going to be like quick, easy. This is what we can do. This is what you want. Let's get it done. And then they move on from it. Now, let's just stick with the Canadian orientation camp down there in Calgary. Obviously not on ice, but a chance to get used to maybe with some of these faces and who might be on the team. How many Oilers today do you have making Team Canada?
I'll say 2. I think Connor McDavid, obviously. And I think Evan Bouchard does ultimately make the team, even if it's as a 7th defenseman. I think they have Cale Makar to run their power play. I'm not sitting here trying to convince you that Evan Bouchard's better at running a power play than Cale Makar. Maybe there even is a bit of an argument there, but still, Cale Makar is running the power play. But if you're going to fill out the rest of your blue line with the Doughties, Parikos, Morrissey, so I know he's a good offensive defenseman in his own regard, but if you're going to fill out the rest of the blue line with penalty killers and things of that ilk, I think having your 7th defenseman be a guy who, if Cale Makar were to go down, or if you feel like you need to add a bit more of a scoring punch or puck moving mid-tournament, having that be Evan Bouchard, I think would be really good for Team Canada. So I'm higher on him than that. If I was running Team Canada, he'd be playing. He'd be one of my top 6. But just going with how they handled the 4 nations and how I think they could handle the Olympics, I think we'll see Evan Bouchard on the team. I think we'll see Connor McDavid on the team. And then I guess the only one who could push it to a 3rd, I know Nuge is at the orientation camp, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. I love him. Oilers fans love him. He's not making the Olympic team. But if Zach Hyman gets off to a really hot start and is healthy, and let's say he has 23 goals by the Olympic break or 25 goals by the Olympic break, or by the time they name the roster, maybe they're inclined to, you know what? They did have, and think back to 4 Nations, they did have a little bit of trouble finding someone with Connor McDavid, right? It was Reinhardt, then it was Marner, and there was never that natural fit who he kind of ran with for the whole tournament. Maybe they just sit there and learn their lesson and go, you know what? Short tournament, we know Zach Hyman can play with them. Put him in the lineup.
And I would be all on board with that. Like, they have to hit the ground running. Like you said, short tournament, a guy that you know can play with Connor McDavid. And honestly, I feel like Zach Hyman, the way he plays, his skill set, whatever line he's on, he's going to give you something. So I would be all on board for Zach Hyman, like you said, especially if he does have a hot start to the season and the wrist is doing okay. I would be totally on board for that one. We're joined by Tyler Yaremchuk of Oilers Nation and Daily Faceoff. You're on the Jason Gregor Show. Connor Halley and Wanye Gretz sitting in. Now, let's turn our attention to the majors. Last night, not an ideal finish for the Toronto Blue Jays. Ty, are you concerned with the closing situation of this team heading into the playoffs?
Like I am, because what we watched last night, and listen, Jeff Hoffman, when he gets hit really hard. And one of the tough things when it comes to evaluating a bullpen is like when guys go through a cold stretch, it's cold and it's apparent. When your closer is bad, you lose games because of it. It's not one of those things where Jeff Hoffman gets to come in a couple of times with a 6-run lead and he gives up 3 runs, but you go, it's fine. Wait a 6. He comes in 1 or 2 3-run games, and if he blows it, it's bad. So there's concern there. I think he's volatile, but I also think it's a position. I know it's a position that by nature is volatile, and people are worried about these last 2 outings where he gave up the run against Miami. They had to go to extra innings to win. He gave up the home run yesterday, blows a save. But I'll read off his stat line. This is how many earned runs he gave up in the 9 appearances before these last 2. 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. 9 straight goose eggs for the guy. Sure, he had 2 of those outings where he gave up a hit, and in one of them he gave up a walk. One of them he walked a whole bunch of guys, and it was pretty ugly. But like 8 of his last 9 before this cold stretch were pretty close to immaculate. Bullpens are fickle, and the bullpen that's coldest on August 27th is usually not the bullpen that's coldest on September 27th, and it won't be the bullpen that's coldest on October 12th when you're in the middle of the ALDS. I'm okay with it. They've had enough guys who've shown flashes throughout the year that I think it's manageable. It's not going to be a strength, that's clear, but it's manageable.
If not Hoffman, because I know, social media is a cesspool, but you see people throwing these names out there, guys who could potentially slide into that role. If you had to go away from Hoffman, is there anyone you'd be most comfortable with?
Maybe Dominguez. I think Dominguez has the stuff, at least, to be a closer, and he has late game experience. But all this stuff I see thrown around of like Jose Barrios would play well as the closer. athletes are creatures of habit, and pitchers are like that times 10. So you're going to tell a guy in Barrios who knows exactly when he's pitching 5 days in advance and does his buildup in his routine. He's done that for his whole career, for the last decade plus, going back to when he was in the minors. You're now all of a sudden going to look at that guy in his late 20s or early 30s and be like, you know what? You're a closer now. That stuff takes an off season to build into. You don't just snap your fingers and turn someone into a closer. So the idea is that it's Lauer or Barrios. I'm not buying either one of those at all. If you're going to make a change, it's probably Sir Anthony Dominguez. He has a bit of experience doing that in his career. But this idea that you're going to take a starter, snap your fingers, and turn him into a closer that you're trusting in the postseason, insanity.
Tyler Yaremchuk of Oilers Nation joining us here on the Jason Gregor Show. Now, just looking at the AL East specifically, we've got a pretty good race here. Red Sox, Yankees tied for second spot. The Yankees 7-3 in their last 10. Red Sox 6-4. Both teams on smaller winning streaks. If you had to be a little bit more fearful of one of these rivals catching the Jays, who would it be?
The Yankees have a really easy schedule over the next little bit here. Like, they just smoked the the Nationals, and I think they get the Athletics here in the next bit. And the Jays are about to run through a gauntlet of really, really good teams or really good pitchers. Because even when they get the Reds after the Brewers, they got to face Hunter Green to open up that series, and he's one of the best arms in the majors. So the Yankees just got to breeze past the Nationals. Now they get the White Sox up next. Sorry, it's not the A's, it's the White Sox. There's still one more series against both Boston and New York. The fact that both of them are so close to one another and they still have another head-to-head series, that leaves me pretty confident the Jays can hold on to this top spot, which they have a 4-game lead on both those teams. But if something was going to go awry, it would be the Jays in this series against the Brewers, maybe getting swept, maybe only winning one. And you got to look at the Yankees, White Sox and go, the Yankees probably sweep the White Sox. This lead could turn to 2 really fast, and 2 makes you obviously a whole hell of a lot more nervous than 4. But I don't think the Red Sox necessarily have it. I think the Yankees have the ability to go like 20-10 in September, and that would make this interesting.
Now, just looking at the Central, Tigers 9.5 games up on the Royals, so probably going to hold them off there. Looking at the West, though, the Astros just a 1.5 game lead over the Mariners. Who's your pick in that division?
I kind of like the Mariners to get hot. I know Houston's doing this throwback vibe, and Correa showed up, and finally he can hit the ball into the air. In Minnesota, he was just nothing but ground balls, but he's got the launch angle sorted. I like the vibes in Seattle, though. I mean, you always have a bit of a soft spot for them because they're a little close to Canada, but they picked up Josh Naylor, a good Canadian boy. He's on this like crazy run of stealing bases. Cal Raleigh might set a record for most home runs in a season by a catcher, and he might push Aaron Judge's record if he goes on a hot streak like he had a month ago. So I could see Seattle getting this done. I like their rotation a lot more than I like Houston's as well. So I would not be sleeping on Seattle to go and win that division. A game and a half that can be fixed pretty quick.
Yeah, and just looking at the Central in the NL, Brewers up 6.5, and the Phillies have a 5-game lead over the Mets. So let's just say those are kind of bigger leads. But out west, Dodgers just 1 game up on the Padres. I think the Padres can do it.
It's tough because, I mean, the Dodgers just have so much on paper. And, could the Padres... I'll put it this way. Even if the Padres win the division, if those 2 teams play in a playoff series, I'm still picking the Dodgers because there's just too much talent to bet against. And if they're continuing to ramp up Ohtani, and they are, he's starting to go kind of 4 or 5 innings now. It feels like they're taking the training wheels off. If he's fully ready to go as a starter, that rotation is the best rotation in baseball. They have the best bullpen in baseball. The collection of bats are elite. Like, I'm not betting against the Dodgers at any stage. They might just be one of those teams like we see with the Oilers, where they just don't care about the regular season at all.
Totally agree. Now, just before we let you go here, you're a noted member of Bills Mafia. This season, you don't have to say it, I'll say it. They're going to win their division. No other team in the AFC East is as good as they are. When it gets to the postseason, can you give me a reason why this is the year that they get past the Ravens and the Chiefs?
I mean, they've gotten past the Ravens before. The Ravens don't really scare me all that much, but I think I used this line on Low Tide like a month ago or something where I kind of said, like, the Bills are going to win 11 to 14 games. They're going to win the AFC East. They're going to make it to either the AFC Championship or the round right before, whatever one. And then it's going to come down to, will they convert a 3rd or 4th down against the Chiefs in the 4th quarter? And it's pretty wild to be a fan of a team and be like, I already know this whole season for the Bills, no matter how the regular season plays out, whether they're a 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 win team, It will come down to one play in the fourth quarter against the Kansas City Chiefs, and that's what I'm waiting for this whole season. Just get me to that one play in the middle of January, and that'll decide if it's a good or bad season for the Bills.
All right, game on the line. Who are you throwing to?
Khalil Shakir. I mean, or you just give it to Josh Allen. How many times? I mean, I do think Khalil Shakir does not get enough love for how good he is. His numbers last year were great, but I mean, game on the line, you just put the ball obviously in Josh Allen's hands and say, go. And like we saw it against the Chiefs in that regular season game, he had the first down in that playoff game and they just didn't give it to him. But like when Josh Allen just has the ball in his hands, he's very, very, I won't say impossible because he has been stopped, obviously, but he's very, very, very hard to stop. You don't need an elite wide receiver. When the game's on the line, you just tell Josh to go.
You're going to like Josh Palmer if he stays healthy. He's just got to stay healthy. Very good route runner, can make the big catch. But yeah, Bills Mafia. It's going to be a fun season. Ty, thanks for doing this. We'll talk to you next week.
Yeah, sounds good.
There you go. Tyler Yaremchuk, Oilers Nation, joining us as he does every Wednesday here on the Jason Gregor Show. When we come back, we'll talk some more football at a very local level. It is the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440, streaming on Oilers Nation, Facebook, YouTube, and X, brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca.
Rivalries run deep in Alberta football.
Edmonton all the way. Calgary rules.
But when it comes to the best snack for three-down fun, there's no Battle of Alberta. It's a clear winner.
Wilhock Beef Jerky.
The one thing every Alberta fan agrees on. So whether you're watching the game from your recliner or in the stands, make it a part of your game day.
Wilhock Beef Jerky. Because you don't win games with salad. Only available in Leduc.
How's your summer so far? Are you zipping around in your new truck from Wolf GMC Buick? If not, you should be. GMC employee pricing continues through August on our entire 2025 GMC Sierras, including the Sierra HD lineup. But just August. Who knows what September brings? Costco members save an additional $1,200 on our 2025 Buick lineup and all our new GMC Terrain. We're here for a good time, not forever. Buy the new reliable vehicle and treat yourself. Employee pricing, 0% financing at Wolf GMC Buick.
At Leading Edge Physiotherapy, we believe that life shouldn't hurt. Now, that doesn't mean that we don't know that sometimes it really hurts. I mean, we've seen people at their worst moments in life, when they feel they have nowhere to turn, or at a time when they felt like their problem just wouldn't ever go away. We've also seen people who thought to themselves, it'll just go away on its own, or this is no big deal. I don't want to bother anyone about this. Don't know where to turn to, or think it's no big deal. Either way, we have the technology, techniques, and skills to help you get back to it, whatever your it may be. Life shouldn't hurt. LeadingEdgePhysio.com.
Reports suggest that Canadian taste buds are bored to tears.
My mouth can't handle another dull drink.
Summertime smoothie experts everywhere are recommending a watermelon wake-up from Booster Juice.
It's so smooth, cool, and refreshing.
And ridiculously delicious. Enjoy the Watermelon Wave and Watermelon Explosion smoothies, available all summer long at a Booster Juice near you. Stay cool, Canada.
Booster Juice, Canadian-born, blending since 1999.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
I see your dirty face behind your collar.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Sherbrooke Liquor, the best place for wine, cocktails, and beers from all over the world. Also, a variety of excellent non-alcoholic options. See more at SherbrookeLiquor.com.
Hat tricks, touchdowns, and home runs. Get it all with the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Connor Halley, Wanye, Gretz with you. We got Declan Kruger and Josh Fenwick keeping us going on track. You can listen on Sports 1440 or watch the show on Oilers Nation's YouTube, Facebook, and X. And for those so inclined, also we're on Instagram on Sports 1440, so you can go check it out there if you would like. Lots to get to still on this show. Of course, we'll talk a little bit about the Connor McDavid news today. it's not really news. He's just not panicked about a new contract. We'll talk some Toronto Blue Jays, Vegas Raiders. As yesterday they signed Amari Cooper, which I like the move. I know that there's been some questions about that offense, and you had Jacoby Myers rumored to have requested a trade, but I wonder, just having another receiver there, maybe Myers sticks it out for another season and hangs around. We'll see. Colin Livingston also going to join us on the show today, but right now we're going to go in the room, brought to you by Action Electrical. They're the most diversified electrical contractor in Alberta with 4 divisions in project, service, tag, and solar for commercial or residential. Contact them today at actionelectrical.net. We bring in the head coach of the University of Alberta Golden Bears football team, Stevenson Bone. Coach, how are you doing today?
Doing well.
Hey, thanks for joining us on the show. Lots to get to with this organization, but I just want to ask you, obviously, very good offensive coordinator last season, the last 3 years with UBC. Now coming over to the Golden Bears program, how much of an adjustment has it been taking over as the head coach and kind of seeing the entire program and having responsibilities everywhere?
It's a very cool change, though. I really do like Edmonton already. It's been really welcoming, and they are a very talented and motivated group. So it's easy to work with people that are like-minded like myself. And it's been a blast so far. Looking forward to a Friday night.
Now, you were a Wanye Cup winner out at Western with the Mustangs. Just want to ask you, at what point did you think, I think coaching is something I want to get into after my playing days are over?
I hate to say that I didn't really plan it, but I honestly didn't really plan it. I think I thought that I would get into the CFL, maybe in front office and kind of get into business operations. And then a friend of mine, actually, who's now coaching down at the University of Calgary, Ryan Shan, he was the head coach at the University of Guelph, and I was doing actually the PA for the University of Toronto in 2018. I was their PA announcer for football, and I just missed the game a lot. And I thought, I got to get back into it. And I thought he was hired out there. I played quarterback. I hit him up. I said, hey, do you need a quarterback coach out at Guelph? Thinking that I kind of stay with the CFL. It kind of worked out. There was a full-time opening there in the Griffin Athletic Program. He hired me on, and then I really got the itch. I think after the first year, we played up in Carleton and won up there in week 2 in 2019. And it was such a fun experience as a coach, seeing it finally from the other side, that I thought, man, let's see if I can make this a career. And, it led me out west, and now I'm here.
So 3 years at UBC as the OC, and each of those years top offensive side of the football.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is trying to figure out what the players do well, and then just calling plays for their strengths. And people always ask me, what sort of scheme or what sort of identity do you have? And I think that multiplicity is kind of the word that I try to use. Like, if it's a game that we have to throw it 40 times, we'll do that. If we have to run it 40 times in bad weather, we'll do that too. So, I really just try to figure out what those guys can do well, and that's kind of the process. And then hopefully at the end of the season, we're hitting our stride, and having more success come down the stretch. And that's usually when those big numbers kind of start showing up.
University of Alberta head football coach Stevenson Bone joining us here on the Jason Gregor Show. Connor Halley sitting in. So, Stevenson, can you take us through the process of how it all worked out? And at what point did you hear about this job opening? And how did the whole hiring process go?
Yeah, I heard about it when I guess the world heard that Coach Morris was going to the Edmonton Elks and becoming the president there. And actually I ended up running into him at the CFL Awards in December. And I really didn't even know that, I was going to be even shortlisted. I always had chatted with Coach Blake Nill at UBC about, the possibility of becoming a head coach. I still thought that it was a few years away. And then this opportunity opened up. And, my mother's, my aunt lives in Stony Plain. She lived in Stony Plain. I have cousins and family out here. So I was always able to kind of see the Edmonton area, even when I was younger. And I really appreciated the culture that Chris had established with the toughness, I guess, of the Alberta program. And that really resonated with me, and that's kind of why I applied. The process was awesome, though. Got to come out here, visit in beauty. It was actually a beautiful week in kind of January that I was able to see the campus, really sunny and nice. And I just really kind of fell in love with it.
Now, with your offensive background, of course, how hands-on will you be when it comes to the defensive side of the football? Or is it a situation where you let Coach Poulin kind of handle it?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think one of the great things that Coach Neal did when I went out to UBC was he did give me pretty much full autonomy in terms of, calling the plays and not trying to get too involved in that. once you're in the league for a few years, like I've been, I think you do gather experience in terms of what teams are trying to do against you. And from an offensive perspective, I watched a lot of offensive tape and other teams' offenses when you're preparing for another opponent. So I try to give him sort of a little bit of feedback about, this is maybe a good thing. This is probably not the direction that you want to be going. But, I really do try to let him have a long leash and competitive conference. And you really need to, week in and week out, really prepare like it is in a professional organization.
Now, I'm assuming when the job opened up, you probably had some reason, maybe some players that excited you and made you want to join this organization, take over as the head coach. So for you, and then, I guess at the same time, for fans that want to get out, who are some players you're looking forward to coaching, and who should fans be looking forward to watch this year?
Yeah, it's so tough because I really like the linebacking core. I think that those guys are excellent players. I know from just preparing against them the last 2-3 seasons. Boy, they're a special group. Chase Tatterin, who's drafted by the BC Lions, he returns, and Dayton Ingenhog, he should probably be up for some sort of President's Trophy at the end of the season. He's a heck of a middle linebacker. So I really like those two. I think our linebacking core is really solid. I'm looking forward to kind of seeing those guys work. And then on offense, it's a little bit of a mix. Obviously, I know Eli's been the starting quarterback here for the past 3 seasons. Look, I really wanted to kind of work with him. And then, the other guy is the receiving core in Colby Herford, Chevy Thomas and Carter Kettle. I think those guys are really, really solid. So a lot of them, right? A lot of them, I respected a ton of them. And that's, so far, it's been a pretty good working relationship.
Head coach of the University of Alberta Golden Bears football team, Stevenson Bone, joining us here on the Jason Gregor Show. Now, Stevenson, how was the recruiting process for you, your first year as a head coach?
Yeah, it was great. So far, we were able to retain a lot of the guys that, Coach Morris had offered initially and signed. That was part of the first bit of them, was reaching out to those guys, the guys that already signed their LOIs with the program. Then we were able to add some studs late, really in the class, which I was really happy about. There's a receiver, Alejandro Ganyemi, who was committed initially to Calgary, and we were able to flip him. And Finn Gertzen, who was at UBC, we were able to flip him. He was the St. Francis guy from Calgary. So